Elite Gaming.
What's up guys, it's Andrew at Elite Gaming HQ, and in this video, we are benchmarking Shadow of War. Now if you catch my video yesterday, you saw my benchmarks of Shadow of War with a GTX 1060 and a Ryzen 3 build, and I was very impressed at the optimization of the game, along with the FPS that we were actually able to achieve. All the way down to Ultra we did pretty well. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card right here, go check that out, and you can see how good the GTX 1060 performs in this game. But today, I'm going to test my GTX 1080. The test system is an i7-6700K overclocked to 4.5 GHz, 16 gigs of DDR4, and a Strix GTX 1080. We're going to run the test in 1080p, then a little bit of 1440p, and then some 4K. So you guys get a solid idea and what kind of performance to expect from a system like this. Now how I was able to do these tests is simply by fraps. So I set fraps the benchmark for 300 seconds while I just played the game. Now I do know the game has an in-game benchmark, but my results were all over the place and I decided not to use it. So you got to take in consideration that some of the zones might be a little more graphically extensive than the first open world zone that I decided to test. But I feel that this is a more accurate way to test the actual game, so we can also get an idea of what the FPS actually represents and how the game actually looks. But first, let's go over the 1080p numbers. So I tested in high, very high, and ultra. I don't really see a point of doing medium or low, or very low for that matter, and you'll see why. For the high preset, we're able to achieve 101 FPS average, a max of 131, and a min of 83. What I find pretty interesting is that the lower presets, the GTX 1080 kind of performed very similar to the 1060, but as you get up in the higher presets, you will see how it really makes a difference. So that being said, let's move on to very high. Very high, we got an average of 94, a minimum of 69, and a max of 135. As the graphical settings are getting higher, we're starting to widen that gap between the two cards. Now let's go to Ultra, which Ultra says it needs an astonishing 10 gigabytes of RAM and over 8 gigabytes of VMemory. But for Ultra, we were able to achieve an average of 71, a minimum of 59, and a max of 122. So for this game in Ultra, you could achieve 60 FPS the whole entire time with a GTX 1080. Yeah, it might drop down to 59, but you're not going to notice it. The difference between 59 and 60 is not something I believe you can actually see. But let's take it a little bit further. Let's say we go up to 1440p, which is my favorite resolution to play in. I can show you this from direct gameplay. In 1440p, we really didn't lose too many frames, if any at all. As you see the fraps counter up in the top left corner, with 1440p Ultra, we stayed pretty consistent with our FPS. That shows me that this game is optimized very well, and despite its warnings, it's still not that bad to run on Ultra. But some people consider a GTX 1080 a 4K card, so let's do the test. Let's test it in 4K. Well, in Ultra, we got around 30 FPS. We could not pull Ultra 4K for 60. Now I moved down the presets, and to get a solid 60 FPS, or maybe give or take a few frames, we'd have to run 4K on medium settings, but we will get a 64 average, a minimum of 58, and a max of 89. Still solid numbers. So everything looks amazing. The game looks good, the game runs good, and it's fun to play. But like I said before, if you didn't catch yesterday's video for the GTX 1060, it'll be in the cards and I'll put it in a link below, as well as if you want to see any of my benchmarks for PUBG, I'll put them in the description below as well. I just wanted to make this video short and sweet, so if anyone's ever searching for this information, they can find it and get what they need right away. If you like this sort of thing, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell, maybe even give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next one. My name is Andrew, and this is Elite Gaming HQ. Thanks for watching, guys.